up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, Serendipity. Today I am going to be reacting to top 10 scary true unsolved mysteries from the UK. I know there's probably going to be some crazy ones. It's also crazy that even still today there is a ton of unsolved mysteries literally all over the world. But anyway, let's get into this video.
How much technology in forensics has developed over the years, it is crazy to me that some people are still smart enough to somehow get away with murders and other crimes. I mean, Jack the Ripper, sure, that was like forever ago, before cameras and DNA testing and stuff existed, but still, that still has me wondering how many unsolved mysteries really are out there. My guess is quite a lot. But today we are going to be focusing on ones that came right out of the UK. What is up, you guys? Hope you're having an awesome day. I am your host, Ayman Hasan, and welcome back to another video. Today, I am bringing you the top 10 true unsolved mysteries from the UK. Starting us off at number 10 is Who Put Bella in the Wych Elm. This is one of the most iconic mysteries in UK history, and I've covered it before in a super old video. Back in 1943, 3 boys found the skull of a woman stuffed into the trunk of a wych elm tree. Investigators later located most of the remains inside the tree as well. No leads were really made in the case until the next year when somebody graffitied Who Put Bella in the Wych Elm on a wall in Birmingham. Even then, no definite identification was made of the body, whose name might not have even been Bella. But some theories have arisen, including one claiming that she was a sacrifice used in a satanic ritual. Apparently, one of her arms was left 13 paces away from the rest of her body, which is common in satanic rituals. Other theories include that she was a witch herself, or maybe that she was a German spy.
It wouldn't be surprising.
Nobody knows who put Bella in the wych elm, or who Bella even was, if Bella was her name at all.
There's a lot of witch stuff going on back then.
A young boy was found in the River Thames. For 10 years he was unidentified until a key witness came forward with a name. Apparently this witness lived with the boy in Germany before he was trafficked to the UK. Still, nobody knows who killed him, but his arms and legs and head were expertly cut off, so it's suspected that the perpetrator was someone in the medical field. But at the same time, there are theories that this was also some...
Who knows? Honestly, if it was that far back, probably not in the medical field, because when I was in high school, we took a field trip to the pharmacy museum in New Orleans, and it was wild, the history of New Orleans. Like, it's insane. But one thing that they told us was that the person that the salon person, the people that would cut your hair, would also do amputations as well. So now that I'm like, probably wasn't a medical person, it was probably just the salon person.
Sort of satanic ritual or a ritual sacrifice of some kind, but I mean, who sacrifices young boys in rivers? Who sacrifices?
Well, either way, a weirdo.
I don't know. At number 8, we have the murder of Thomas Webb. Now, to preface this, the circumstances surrounding this murder may not seem particularly scary, but it is a very creepy case. He was found dead from a gunshot wound outside of his cottage at College Farm, which of course is not good. But what makes this case spooky is the fact that he literally had a vision of it happening. He had a vision of his own death. He literally told people that he had a premonition that he was going to get shot while having a look around the farm at night. I don't know, you guys, but I don't think I want to have a literal vision of how I'm gonna die. Aren't there like already a million scary movies?
That's literally what I was thinking.
Am I wrong?
Like, that's like the question that I always hear is like, would you rather know when you're gonna die or how you're gonna die? And I would rather just live, you know?
Following on number 7 slot is the Newcastle Halloween murder. Back in 1963, on Halloween night, a woman named Lillian Armstrong was brutally murdered inside her own home. When her sister arrived at her house the next morning and Lillian didn't answer the door, she called the cops, who then arrived to investigate the scene. Lillian was at the bottom of her stairs with a pair of pantyhose tied tightly around her neck, and she had been stabbed no fewer than 28 times. That is a lot of stab wounds, especially for somebody who lived a quiet and private social life. There were no signs of fingerprints, footprints, a murder weapon, forced entry, or even ransacking. So what was the real motive of this murder? Why would anyone kill Lillian Armstrong?
What?
Now at number 6.
And that's another thing. Honestly, I would hate to be stabbed to death. I mean, that's deep, but that's another thing that people always, well, I don't know. I always hear people talk about, like, if you could pick your death, what would it be? And I'm like, whatever's the quickest and less painful. And I feel like I would rather almost anything else. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't be stabbed. I want to be stabbed.
This is the 𝐂𝐤𝐤𝐸 inscription. The inscription in
kinda
question
deep,
was found in
but
the 𝐂𝐤𝐤𝐸 estates
it's the
in
truth.
Staffordshire, and nobody has any idea what it means, but it's very clearly not just a random design. Some people believe that it relates back to a secret kept by the guardians of the Holy Grail, the Priory of 𝐂𝐤𝐤. Others think naturally that it's something to do with the Illuminati. Other, more boring unbelievers think that it's just a design dedicated to a family member with no deeper meaning. But I'm not buying that last one because it's just boring as hell. Coming in at number 5 is the beast of BODMIN MOOR. The beast is a large cat-like creature which in most places wouldn't seem that suspicious, except whatever cat people thought it was not native to the area, and there were no records of one being set loose either. The fact that it's been around since the late 70s makes scientists reject these theories too, because the climate, breeding possibilities, and food availability would make survival of these cats incredibly unlikely. So what is it? What was the beast? Nobody knows, but what we do know is that since the spotting of these beasts, livestock have been found dead after being mauled by a mysterious creature. At number 4 is Britain.
Wait. I don't know if I just missed that. But is that like a real cat? Like a real wild cat that the UK has? Or is she just saying, like, people saying it was a cat, a wild cat, but it was just some type of... I don't know.
The oldest unsolved murder, dating back to 1914, a market trader and brother of a city councillor was found dead after his head had been bashed in with a fire poker. Nobody knows exactly why he was murdered or who did it, but some suspect that it was a robbery gone wrong because he was known to carry a big bag of gold around with him. That's probably some information you wouldn't want to make public. What is this man doing? He was 72 years old when he died, and the police only had one lead, a guy who was seen prowling around the area that morning, but other than that, it remains a mystery to this day. And probably forever. Filling at number 3 slot is the Highgate vampire. Apparently, a vampire has been roaming the cemetery since at least the 1960s. I love a good vampire story, as you guys know. I'm very into the whole Twilight thing. I read all the books, watched all the movies multiple times. I'm into it. Then one night, a man spent the night in the cemetery just for fun because YOLO. And then 2 months later, he wrote into a local newspaper to explain his experience. Apparently, while there, he saw a tall, supernatural, shadowy figure. Other people began writing in as well, saying that they've seen tall supernatural men in hats, ghostly figures on bicycles, and figures walking around and then disappearing into the water. Another man
people
said
are just
thought
wild,
the vampire of the undead was responsible. He claimed that a nobleman from Romania who practiced dark magic had been brought to England to be buried in the 1700s, but that Satanists had risen his body from the grave, so it looks like YOLO wasn't quite true for that guy. Now at number 2 are the fairy coffins. Way back in 1836, a group of young boys found a stack of mysterious miniature coffins. There were about 17 of them stacked in 3 towers inside of a cave, each of which contained a small wooden figure in handmade clothes. Nobody knows why or how they got there, but some people believe that it was because of witches casting death spells.
Honestly, those look like some voodoo dolls. Yeah, that's
Others
voodoo
think they
dolls.
represented the victims of murderers Burke and Hare. But to this day, over 180 years later, nobody knows where those coffins came from or those dolls. I'm getting like Tinkerbell vibes, like little fairies like Tinkerbell just being killed and put in these little coffins. And finally, at number 1, we have Jack the Ripper. I think I would have missed a major opportunity if I didn't put him at number 1, to be honest.
I think everybody
He was
knows a little bit
responsible for the
about
deaths
Jack
of
the
at least
Ripper.
7 women in 1888, but chances are other unsolved murders are connected to him as well. These murders were connected because of the grotesque things done to their bodies, including having their throats slashed, extensive mutilation to their abdomen and genital area, the removal of internal organs, and mutilation to their faces as well. While there were suspects named, the police at the time couldn't agree on any of them, and honestly, I don't think they did a very good job at narrowing them down either. There were over 100 named suspects. I mean, no wonder they couldn't catch him. Can you imagine tracking down, interviewing, and investigating over 100 people? That's like searching for a needle in a haystack. As much as I want this case to get solved in my lifetime, it's also been 130 years, so I don't have high hopes. And that is it for today's video, guys.
Honestly, is there still like people trying to solve the Jack the Ripper mystery of who it was? I mean, I don't even know how you would research that. That's so long ago. That's my reaction to the top scary, true, unsolved mysteries from the UK. I hope you enjoyed it. And Like always, there's more to come, and I'll see you in the next one.